Welcome to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. I'm your host, Simone Morris, and I have a passion for empowering others to take responsibility for their careers. Yes, I've written several books on owning your career and am loving hosting this podcast. This podcast is for you if you're willing to make a shift to the driver's seat in your career. We feature leaders who inspire, empower, and motivate you for consistent career action for results. Please continue to join us every Sunday when a new episode is released. Let's get into this week's show. Hi there, this is Simone Morris, host of the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. I'm so excited. We are up on Thanksgiving in the United States, and really the holidays focused on being grateful for all that you have been given, and a time to celebrate family and also a time to eat some good food. I'm so excited about having a break. It's been a very impactful year career-wise. You know, this show is about careers, and I'm fortunate to be in a position to recognize when I am in the driver's seat and not in the driver's seat. This season has been wonderful. We've had such insightful guests who remind me about what it takes to be in the driver's seat, lest I forget. So, I hope that you're enjoying this season of episodes. We are coming up on the end of the season. I can't even believe it. We do about 15 or so episodes each season, and I want to encourage you to be following along with the podcast and really implementing what the guests are saying is working for them in their careers. I know that I definitely take notes for each episode. I remember we had Egwu on recently, and he was really talking about how to go the extra mile with your brand. And sometimes we can be tired. I know, quite honestly, with everything that's going on right now in the world and in the workplace, it can be tiring to even carve out time and prioritize your career. But it's really important. I think when I see things like layoffs from all these different tech companies, I think, wow, I'm really glad that I'm in a position to really work on what my destiny will look like. What will I engage in? And it's beautiful to embrace diversity, because I know many times when you're doing a job, you're just working on the job at hand. And you may have additional interests that you don't get to explore unless it's extracurricular. So the nice thing about being an entrepreneur, and I know the difference because I was in corporate America for decades. The difference for me is that I get to try different things, and I get to work with different people. I don't have to ask permission to work with different people. And so I'm not hyping you up to quit your job, quitting, or to run off and start a business, because let me tell you, it's hard work and you have to go all in to stay the journey. I'm just reflecting on how grateful I am that I've had an opportunity for 7 years to work on my own business and to discover, as Michelle Obama says, discover who Simone is becoming on this journey. And so I want to say to you that I'm so grateful that you continue to listen to the podcast, and that you continue to take away career wisdom, career nuggets, career tips, and implement them in your career. And I'm grateful for people who continue to reach out that they want to be a part of the podcast. I know there's things that I need to work on in my career as I think about 2023. Believe it or not, I've already started thinking about 2023 and what I want to accomplish in my career in 2023. One of the things I do want to do is I do want to do a TEDx talk. I haven't done that yet, and I want to do that. So I wonder, as you reflect on what you're grateful for this holiday season, especially if you're in the US, I know that people listen around the country to the podcast, so we're not just based in the US. In the US, it's a Thanksgiving holiday, which is, again, focused on gratitude and celebration and connection of family. I know that Canada's Thanksgiving was in October, and people around the world in general. There's so much going on. But anyway, if you're listening to the podcast, I want to encourage you to just take a few moments each week to focus on your career. I tell my coaching clients to put time on the calendar where they essentially uphold the boundary that they are in fact important and that they deserve the time to work on owning their careers. And I'm excited about that for them, seeing the results they're having, and excited for you who continue to listen to the podcast. Believe me, we've got great guests lined up to close out the season, as well as great guests for next season. We've got a couple more episodes as we near December, and then we'll be on hiatus for a couple weeks, if not a month, and returning early first quarter 2023. So, and in my mind, that's a great opportunity to go back through the episodes. We have over 100. It's got to be over 120 by now. Episodes of all focused on being in the driver's seat and owning your career. So if you want to go all in and it's a holiday weekend again in the US. If you want to go all in and listen to some episodes, I listen when I go for a run or when I go for a walk. I even listen when I'm in the shower. So you can do bite-sized chunks, but really be listening for what can I do to make a change in my career? I want to level up. And speaking of careers, I'm so excited that I have just launched the 52 Tips for Owning Your Career. Second edition. I'm super passionate about it. It's 3 years later. The first edition was 3 years ago. But so much has happened. I mean, we've had a pandemic, we've had political change, there's been change in the workplace. So much has happened that, of course, your career has to change. If your career hasn't changed in 3 years, I would raise an eyebrow like, hey, what's going on? Am I paying attention to my career? Is my career important to me, or am I just in automatic mode where my brain just knows what to do and get the job done and I'm just, coasting? So 3 years, a lot has happened, and I want to talk about what has happened and to help you to grow and thrive in your career. So do me a favor, pick up the book. Either you can pick it up at 52tipsforowningyourcareer.com. If you do it that way, I'll autograph the book and ship it out to you. But you can also get it on Amazon. I know sometimes people like the Prime quick shipping and all that good stuff. So if you want to get it on Amazon, you're shopping, you can get it on Amazon.com everywhere, and get the book. I have a goal of getting 100 reviews on Amazon. So would you support me on this journey? Again, we've been doing this podcast for a while. It's not monetized at the moment, but it really is important for me to share the message with people to really take ownership of their career. So I'd love it if you would support me by purchasing the book and leaving a review on Amazon. That would be a gift to me for these 9 seasons that you have been taking the journey with me. So get it as a gift for friends and family, get it for yourself. If you want to bring me in your company to talk about careers, I'd love to do that. Or if you just want to talk to me from a career coaching standpoint, I'd love to do that too. Our company store does have some holiday sales going on for what we in the United States call Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, and Cyber Monday. So would love for you to go in and support. We do have a coupon code that could be used to save 20%. So would love for you to do that. We'll put that in the show notes, the coupon code. Make sure that you're listening and reading the show notes. We'll put that in the coupon code, and would love your support to really help this small business become big business as we continue to grow. We're going on 8 years in February of next year, February 2023. But yeah, as an entrepreneur, I still focus on my career. I have to. Just because you exit corporate America, and believe me, I spent decades in corporate America, does not mean that you don't have to worry about your career. You really do. I believe that's a lifelong journey, and so I focus on my career and different interests and different people that I want to meet. I even have to think about mentoring relationships and sponsorship relationships, things that I talk about in the book. I have to think about my professional development, whether or not I want to invest in additional training to level up my leadership skills. I have to think about that. And I have to think about my brand and what the brand looks like and how it shows up in the world. So this message is to people who are inside corporate America, people who are entrepreneurs. You got to focus on your career to get results. It's something that's necessary, and you can find support in the 52 Tips for Owning Your Career book. Again, the website is 52tipsforowningyourcareer.com. You can also find support on the over 120 episodes of the podcast, and you can also, connect with me on LinkedIn. We have a podcast group on LinkedIn. I promise to do a better job as we move towards 2023 to I promise to do a better job so that we can really engage and talk with one another. And I hope you'll promise to do a better job with telling me what you think of the podcast, what you think of the guests, asking questions and communicating and sharing about your career in that safe space. So that's it for this week. We do have a replay episode that will queue up after this bonus comments from me. So hope you enjoy that episode that is coming up. And I want to thank you for listening to the podcast. And please continue to listen to the podcast. And if you need to reach me, you can certainly email me at smorris@simonemorrisenterprises.org. I'd love to hear from you. Otherwise, have a fantastic day and continue to be in the driver's seat. If you're not in the driver's seat, time to get in the driver's seat, put some focus on your career and own your career. Have a great day, everybody. And thanks for listening religiously to the Power of Owning Your Career podcast. Have a great day. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed this week's empowering career story on the podcast. If you did, I'm going to ask you to do me a favor. Wherever you listen to the podcast, be sure that you are subscribing and that you rate and review the podcast. It's so important as we continue to spread the word of career empowerment. In addition, you can head over to the LinkedIn platform and join the Power of Owning Your Career discussion group. There you can have access to the guests who have been on the podcast, as well as others listening to the podcast, as well as myself, where we can continue the conversation. I hope to see you on that platform. You can also email me at pooyc@simonemorris.com if you have a suggestion for guest or a message that you want me to hear personally. Thanks so much, and make it an inspiring, empowering week in your career.